It was the first ever night race in ATV Pro Motocross, and the spotlight shined brightly on defending series champ John Natale, who dominated the proceedings and moved back into championship contention. And this weekend, Natale's coming home. Welcome to Racer TV's continuing coverage of the AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship. Jason Wygant, your host here on NBC Sports, and we are at one of the all-time great stops in all of motocross, High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Today, the best four-wheeled ATV pilots do battle where the best two-wheeled racers did just a few weeks ago. This MotoWorks Can-Am team, John Natale and Joel Hetrick, rallying as of late. The Yamaha boys here, Chad Wienen, Thomas Brown, they need to get their A-game back on today. They look fired up, ready to do it, and you can't count out the number 20, the Baldwin Motorsports Honda of Josh Upperman. Bikes are prepped, riders are ready to head down to the starting line area, and this is where they start getting nervous because so much is on the line. Points will be paid in two motos today toward the coveted 2012 AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship. Now, Chad Wienen on the Yamaha is your points leader so far. We're going to give you a season review and show you how we got here to High Point. Started the season at Ionia Pass in Washington, Georgia, a very technical yet fast racetrack. Upperman was your first leader of the season after grabbing the whole shot. Hetrick, the young kid, was down early, not the way he wanted to start the season. Soon it will boil down to a fantastic battle between Natale, last year's champ, and Wienen, the man who wants it this year. Wienen gets his Yamaha in front of the Can-Am to take the overall win. Next up, Muddy Creek in Tennessee. Another great start for Upperman, and another strong charge by Natale and Wienen. And even in the mud and the rain, they duked it out just like it was perfect conditions. Wienen wins it in Moto 1. And the weather was a little bit better in Moto number 2, but the results were not much different. Wienen able to put his Yamaha into the number 1 position and take another Moto win. The momentum continued for the Yamaha man out of Illinois at the next race at Budds Creek. Despite heavy pressure, he would win the first moto. But finally, a chink in the armor in moto number 2. Wienen would overjump a jump and tweak his wrist, opening the door for the young Can-Am kid on the 88, Joel Hetrick, to take the overall victory and snap Wienen's win streak. But a perfect chance for Wienen to recover. The next race, Sunset Ridge in his home state, and he dominated moto number 1. Challenge was on, though, in moto 2. Bunch of riders to battle with early. He got to the number 1 spot, but here comes Natale. Not afraid of Wienen at all, going after him down the stretch. It would result in one of the closest finishes of the year. Here's the checkers. Wienen just edging Natale for the overall win. And then last week, under the lights at Balance Motocross in Kentucky, Natale out front early and was eventually able to pull away from Wienen and win the first moto. Moto number 2. Under the lights, Natale would deal with heavy pressure this time from his teammate Hetrick and hold on to win it. And that puts Natale just 15 points back of Wienen here at the halfway mark of the 2012 season. And what a pivotal race this High Point 1 will be. A couple of riders taking to the track on their parade lap. This course, technical not because of the jumps or the whoops or the bumps, but because of the corners. Laid out in a valley, a lot of the turns here are off camber where the track actually leans away from the machine in the corners. Natale there obviously knows how to handle it well. He collected the Fast Qualifier Award from ATVRiders.com earlier today. There's Wienen and Upperman trying to pick the right gate, trying to figure out the right race strategy. Wienen staying focused, got the headphones on. He knows that Natale is coming for him. This is usually where the Ironman rallies. This is his home state track. He does have the Fast Qualifier Award. It's going to be a big race today. It looks like the starting line area is about to be cleared. Mechanics doing their last prep. Most of the riders about to pull back into the gates. And we are set to go racing at High Point Raceway here on the NBC Sports Network. Uphill start here at High Point. The Can-Ams handle it best. They get out 1-2. SSI Decals Whole Shot Award for Natale. We mentioned the momentum for him coming into this one, and it continues here as he leads early. Now check this out, one of the new sections of the track. big uphill jumps. Everyone trying to keep the machines close to the ground. But look at Hetrick in the number 2 spot trying to get around his teammate Natali immediately as they weave their way down the hills. And that's the key to this track. You're always going up or down. Even when you're going sideways, there's still a bit of a tilt to it. Wait a minute, someone's still down in turn 1. And that is Josh Upperman on that Baldwin Honda. Very rare to see this. Normally, the whole shot artist, instead he is down. We've got the helmet cam footage. Let's see what happened. Thanks to GoPro. There he's battling it out with Wienen. They're coming together. And Wienen gets stuck in the first turn as well. They have to get off the machines. So that's going to put your series points leader in the back of the pack as well. This is the shakeup that the MotoWorks Can-Am team was looking for, and they're taking full advantage. Natali leading as they come uphill, but look at his young teammate Hetrick all over him right now. And you got Thomas Brown on the T. Brown Yamaha in the number 3 spot, and he is putting heat on. Uphill triple, and all 3 of these riders negotiated together. Hetrick to the inside, takes the lead early. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by AMSOIL. Fantastic racing underway here. It's Racer TV's coverage of the AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship from High Point Raceway. And the kid out of Seneca, Pennsylvania is leading in front of his home state fans. Joel Hetrick forced his way to the number 1 spot early and has put big distance on John Natali and Thomas Brown, who are raging here for the number 2 spot, and Brown makes the move. Now Natali back to the inside. That's the famous billboard corner. Lots of passes have been made over the years in that section. Today, no exception. Natali able to steal second back from Brown. Now, Brown, he knows what he needs to do if he wants to help his fellow Yamaha rider, Chad Wienen. As far as series points are concerned, he needs to finish this one in front of Natali, and he's trying everything to put his blue machine in that position. And there is Wienen, unbelievable, up to the number 4 spot. And early in this race, he was down and off of his machine in the first turn. And suddenly now, this is Hetrick, who was leading. And the report is he had to stop in the pit area for some sort of mechanical adjustment. Had a problem. They had to fix it. You don't see that very often in a motocross race. So suddenly, Natali and Brown found themselves 1 and 2. A lap ago in this very turn, Natali was pushed back to the number 3 spot, and now he's in the lead. But look at the style of Wienen, who's up to 3rd in front of Hetrick. Hetrick throwing that machine sideways. A little bit of a scrub there on 4 wheels. We'll see if the kid has time to maybe track Wienen down. So it has been a race of attrition today so far. Nick DeNoble just came through on a Honda. There is Upperman, who is also in that first turn crash with Wienen, and you can see how hard he's pushing. It was up on 2 wheels in that corner. Back to the lead pack. It's still Natali leading the way. Brown gunning for his first moto win of the year. And Wienen closing the gap. A 150.3 lap for Wienen. That's the fastest of the moto. But everyone else has stepped up. You see Hetrick coming through here in 4th. Natali was running 152s, but he has dropped into the 150s as well to try to weather this storm from Thomas Brown, who has been right there this entire race. This is where they crossed up earlier. And there's Wienen. In some of the long sections of this very big racetrack, I believe he could probably steal a glance at the leaders, mark himself, and see how much ground he has to make up. But this is where Natali excels. It's not always about having the fastest lap. It's about withstanding the pressure, and with 2 laps to go, you can bet Brown's applying it. Here comes Wienen, but Natali very rarely makes mistakes when the other riders are breathing down his neck. He's been at this game so long. Won the title in this series for the first time back in 2005. So he has been through the wars, he's been through the battles, and you can see here late in the game beginning to put some distance between himself and Brown. But there is some lap traffic to contend with. So we'll see how well Natali deals with that. Big downhill section here. You got to be hard on the brakes, and then one of those off-camber right-hand turns. The track leans to the left while you're turning to the right. And Natali seems to have found his groove late in this one. And and Wienen's charge from third, and Hetrick's charge in fourth. I believe they have stalled. It's about as far as they're going to be able to go. It's down to Natali versus Brown, and Natali has extended it just a bit. White flag is now out, and Brown going back up to the 152 lap times, while Wienen maintains the 150s and a 151 for Natali. So Natali getting away and Wienen closing on Brown. I don't think there's enough time for any changes to be made in the running order. But if you're Hetrick, if you're Wienen, you're Upperman, you've got to figure better things are going to happen in Moto number 2. They've all had their share of problems. And through it all, Natali, the very consistent veteran, looking to follow up that ATVRiders.com Fast Qualifying Award with a Moto win here at High Point as he heads into the right-hand off-camber for the last time in this first Moto. But you've got to win 2 of them here in ATV Motocross if you want to make up maximum points. And that's what Natali's working on. He wins Moto number 1. Great run by Brown. Second, and through traffic, Wienen, Hetrick, Upperman still finish inside the top 5. We'll be back with Moto 2. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by AMSOIL. Got an upcoming event the Racer TV cameras will be focused on. Maybe you can join us live in person. November 3rd and 4th, it's the grand finale of the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing Series. We'll take 4-wheeled ATVs and UTVs of all kinds and set them loose in the woods just outside of Nashville. Hope to see you there, either as a racer or a spectator. Now back to the motocross scene here at High Point. John Natali, there he is, won Moto number 1. Made up 5 points on Chad Wienen in this series, now down by just 10 heading into Moto 2. Wienen needs to respond here. It was a first-turn crash that actually cost Wienen and Josh Upperman dearly. They were able to fight back and finish inside the top 5. There's Upperman on the number 20. You know they expect better starts in this one. Upperman, I'll say the best starter in the game. Expect him to be up front this time as the gate is about to drop in Moto number 2. And no surprise, Upperman answers back with the SSI Decals Whole Shot Award here in Moto number 2, and the chase is on here at High Point. Natali and Wienen second and third. It's the kind of showdown the fans here in Pennsylvania were hoping to see. Upperman so experienced running this point position, but the championship intensity, you've got to figure that the 2 riders behind him, Natali and Wienen, are going to push it. And I believe that's Hetrick in the number 4 position. Remember, Hetrick led Moto number 1 early for having some mechanical problems, and he's trying to work his way back into contention. This is the perfect scenario for Moto 2. Uphill triple, and all 5 riders actually with Brown and the Yamaha busted out, and I think Brown might have made the pass. No, in fact, Hetrick has gotten around Wienen up to the number 3 spot and is going after Natali. Upperman trying to get away. Uphill triple. Everyone doubling here. No, Hetrick trying to come back. Wienen and Hetrick have passed each other back and forth already, just 2 laps into this race. Upperman continues to lead. Natali is still second. And let's see this battle for third. Hetrick has put it back in front of Wienen. The kid is determined. He's fired up. He's going after Natali again for the number 2 spot. And I don't think he's going to want to stop there. You figure they're going to want to go after Upperman. Where is the Honda man? Oh, Upperman has gone off the racetrack. So Natali finds himself in the lead, and Hetrick is up to second. It has been a wild day here in Pennsylvania, and the only rider who has really been able to avoid the crashes, the off-track excursions, is Natali. I don't know if he's the fastest guy here today, but he's been the most consistent. But look at the pressure being applied by Hetrick and Wienen. Downhill they go. This is one of the most treacherous off-cambers of all this track. Almost sharply off to the right while you're turning to the left. Hetrick trying to not only stay on the track, but find running room to make the pass. It's a team battle right now. You got the 2 MotoWorks Can-Ams and the 2 Yamahas. Third and fourth trying to get around him, and this is the spot Hetrick likes. He takes over the number 1 spot and triples to boot. Unbelievable what this kid is able to do on this very comfortable, very familiar racetrack to him. And he begins to put the hammer down and get away. And Wienen has made the move on Natali as well. Now the report is that Natali feeling a little bit under the weather today. He was able to dig deep, hold off Thomas Brown, and win Moto 1. But here in Moto 2, Hetrick and Wienen are back with a vengeance. And don't forget about Upperman. Upperman apparently went off the track while leading, quickly lost some ground. We'll see if he can fire back. Although I don't know if anyone's going to have anything for Hetrick, who is just letting it all hang out. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation for the kid. And so far it's paying off. It didn't in Moto 1. He led early. He had problems. He was able to salvage a top 5. I don't think he's close enough to win the overall today when you count both motos, but still, Moto wins. They pay big points. They probably pay some bonus money, so the kid's going to go for it. And that is spectacular to watch him clear that uphill triple and throw the machine sideways. Still close between Wienen, Natali, and Brown in second, third, and fourth. If they can hook up and move forward together, they might have something for the kid. It might come down to endurance. Is Hetrick going to be able to run this type of torrid pace all the way to the end? It looks to me like Wienen is starting to close up and try to put the pressure on. So we've still got a battle for the lead on our hands from High Point. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by AMSOIL. Racer TV rages on the NBC Sports Network. Jason Wygant giving the call, and we have a new leader at High Point. Before we went to break, we were wondering how long could Joel Hetrick run that torrid pace and ride the thin line between risk and reward. Well, not all the way to the checkered flag. Chad Wienen was putting pressure on. Hetrick made a mistake, and now Wienen to the #1 spot. Now, due to a third-place finish in the first moto, Wienen still might not get today's overall victory. It could go to this man, John Natali, who won the first race. He is running second here in race 2. And, of course, a first and a second is going to beat a first and a third in the overall score for the weekend. And that means that Natali will make up just a few more points on Wienen for the day. And that's really the question. Can he continue to make up points and keep this championship close? Battle is on for third between Thomas Brown and Josh Upperman. Brown has been consistent all day. Upperman has been up and down literally. Crashed early in Moto 1. Went off the track early here in Moto 2. But he is really on a charge right now and is trying to put a move on Brown to the inside for that coveted last podium spot in this race. I don't think Natali has the stuff to go after Wienen in this second moto. Like we said, the veteran feeling a little bit under the weather today, but he can definitely manage this race, manage this series, and he knows if he finishes second in this moto, it does not matter if Wienen wins it. Natali will be the day's overall winner, and that would be 2 in a row for the Iron Man. Wienen airing it out. And this has been the trouble for Wienen the last couple of years. He has gotten into the points lead time and time again. He often wins early in the series. There have been other years where he's rallied late. But regardless, it seems like every year there's a bad race or two that spoils his championship party. And that problem in the first moto definitely was the potential for that today. He was able to bounce back, salvage some points. Pulling off a moto win here, he will minimize the damage. And we know full well, you win the championships on your bad days. You've got to be able to salvage as many points as possible when the luck is not rolling your way, and that's what Wienen has done. He's not going to win the overall, but he's going to be very happy to have minimized the damage. 1 lap to go. And Natali just digging deep. You got to figure that the fans back there are helping him. Got a lot of family here in Pennsylvania rooting for him. This battle for third still raging. Brown back in front of Upperman. And that would also be for a top 3 overall as well. So Brown and Upperman very much motivated, as is this man. The big man from Galena, Illinois, Chad Wienen. Gonna win this moto. Look at the gap he has over Natali. It's about 12 seconds. So Wienen is showing who's the boss right now as these two continue to duke it out. Upperman and Brown. Upperman going to the inside. Still wanting it here in the last lap. They're going to go downhill maybe faster than they have all day long. Dives to the inside. Brown able to cover it on the outside and covers it again. Great racing down the stretch for third in this race. And I think Brown might have Upperman covered. He's got about 3 quad lengths as we head uphill for the last time. Meanwhile, checkered flag coming out, and it's coming out for the number 44 of Chad Wienen, who bounces back big and wins Moto 2 at High Point. But the real star of the show, it's going to be 2 overall wins in a row for the Iron Man, John Natale. And a fantastic race for third. Brown holds off Upperman. Hetrick, with his problems, recovers to finish in 5th. So a big day. We knew it would be pivotal for the championship, and both these guys showed the mental toughness. The Can-Am turning point, well, it was the crash in Moto 1. Good starts for the Can-Ams of Natale and Hetrick. Bad starts for Upperman and Wienen, who came together, and that set the tone for the day. Natale without his best stuff, feeling under the weather, still wins Moto 1 and hangs tough in Moto 2 to snag the overall in front of a big crowd. Thanks for watching, and congratulations to John Natale.